All right, good morning, everyone. I've been covering the business banking space for close to 15 years now, and I've always been disappointed with the level of attention and investment in digital banking. Well, that's about to change. We have a number of trends that we're going to show you today that point to a meaningful shift in investment in digital banking for businesses, focused specifically on freelancers and entrepreneurs, and my presentation will explain why and how. So first of all, this is a massive segment. There are currently 57 million self-employed consumers in the United States today. And they are ill-served by current digital banking platforms because, for the most part, they bank on consumer digital banking. They require business tools that we're not giving them, and there's a lot we can do there. Furthermore, not only is this segment massive, but it's growing at 3 times the rate of the rest of the workforce. Now, what have banks done? We have business digital banking, we have consumer digital banking. But one thing we can point out to you today very clearly, and I'm going to illustrate that on the next few slides with several market trends, is banks have dropped the ball. This segment is totally up for grabs. So for all of you there in an audience at a financial institution or even a FinTech, there's an investment to be made here. And I'm going to start by showing you a digital banking adoption curve. And this is based on Javelin Research, recent Javelin Research. Mobile banking adoption went through really fast acceleration, but it's essentially leveled off and will hit just under 60% by 2021. Who better to engage than a new segment? We've got to move from transactional experiences to ones that are focused on engagement. And who better to engage than the fastest growing large segment in the market? Furthermore, these self-employed businesses or consumers, because they're technically both, they tend to shop around. Over half of them have more than one banking relationship. And that number is even higher if you consider the fact that they're going to fintechs or third parties for a variety of financial services, indicating fragmentation. And when we asked these self-employed consumers, what are the reasons for you to stay at your primary FI? Their number one reason is digital banking, online banking capabilities. Their number 3 answer is mobile banking. But we're not serving them well today. We're not giving them the right tools. And today, there's only one of the top 30 US banks that has a solution that's targeted at freelancers and entrepreneurs. Clearly a strong opportunity. So where are they going? Well, for traditional functions like bill pay, not surprisingly, they are doing things like that at their bank. It's the classic sticky product. But for other financial functions like accounting and bookkeeping, expense reporting, receipt management, or others, they are turning to third parties and will increasingly do so if banks don't rise to the occasion. And the non-banks are well aware of this. They're touting this intermediation, even the way they advertise themselves. And this is an ad from QuickBooks. This is how they position themselves in Google. Enjoy less trips to your bank. And they're not the only ones who have figured out that there's an opportunity here. A slew of neobanks, and we've seen them pop up in the consumer space, but now we've seen them pop up in the business banking space, and they aim to fill the gap that exists today between traditional consumer banking and small business banking, firms like Aslo, Novo, or a firm like Tide in the UK. So what does all that mean? If you're a financial institution or a fintech, there are a number of features that you might want to consider prioritizing. And the next few slides are going to give you a rapid-fire example of the type of package you may want to consider building if you were to try to bank the self-employed consumers, entrepreneurs, freelancers, or those who participate in the gig economy. Number 1, account opening capabilities. Only 6 of the top 30 US banks currently offer small business digital account opening. It's a clear opportunity, and clearly noted by some of the players in the space by saying, we can do it for you in minutes. If you want to bank this segment, you've got to be able to rise to the occasion in the digital world. Number 2, card controls. Being able to securely take a look at a credit card, turn it on and off, set limits, and other such features. Number 3, mobile invoicing tools. Not shockingly, members of this segment often need to send invoices on the fly. And firms like Square and QuickBooks, and there are a ton of others, have developed mobile invoicing tools that will allow this segment to essentially go out and go about their daily business. Mobile loan origination capabilities. there's a strong need for capital for any business, regardless of its size. And being able to provide access to that capital to a small business or to a freelancer entrepreneur is essential. And there are examples on this slide from Tide and OnDeck. There are some financial institutions that have gotten into the game, but they're focused more on the larger small businesses, not necessarily the segment we're describing. But I use the slides here to illustrate the type of features that you might see, whether it's from Chase or Amex or Capital One. Functions like expense reporting and receipt capture could form a package. Now you'll notice there was a lot of fragmentation from different providers in the past few slides, and the reason for that is simple. This package hasn't been built yet. There is no single space to go to get all of these things. It's a huge opportunity. But the holy grail for this segment is going to be cash flow, the ability to determine cash flow. And when we ask businesses, how important is it to get your cash flow accurate, 72% of them say it's either very important or extremely important. Furthermore, when they're asked how they calculate cash flow, the model is essentially we're going out to third parties. We're going to QuickBooks. We're using Excel. We're doing it manually. They're certainly not turning to their bank. Now, there's a behavior change involved here, but there's a strong opportunity to package this up in a picture. If we take a look at Finovate demoing companies, only 2 of the 60 companies here at Finovate are offering some sort of solution that's targeted at this segment. So I stand before you here today with a challenge. Let's come back next year to Finovate with a host of companies that are focused on building products for the self-employed and contractor segment. Thank you.